Uh, this session is meant to look at how virtual reality can work for learning environments and what the ROI is for it, as well as review some of the current work that my company is doing and the research that's been conducted with other companies with people immersed in virtual reality. Hopefully, we'll have a couple minutes for a demo. I'd like to show this onboarding for employees and professional communication. I would cast my virtual reality headset to the computer, and you guys will get a glimpse into how it works. So, with further ado, my name is Selena Maddox, and I have the first 10 years of my professional career was in learning and development and project management. And then I moved the last 10 years into what's change management for large organizations as a management consultant. And now I'm taking Selena 1.0 and Selena 2.0 to create Selena 3.0, which is what I see very strongly as the future of learning, using emerging technology to connect our generations in the workforce and build excitement around learning and activation. So, I had a TEDx talk that was released this year. I hope you get a chance to view it. It's on my website at www.leadlivelearn. And I just found this particular quote so nerve-wracking that more that like close to three-fourths of US adults are terrified at the prospect that AI can remove their job with no replacement permanently. And I speak about this, and I gave a talk last week on, well, let's think about this, right? In the late 1700s, the steam engine brought the train and the railroads and the minings and a whole new industry where a lot new jobs were created. Late 1800s, we have the electricity, and that brings lights and communications and networks, and all of a sudden we don't have to go to bed at 5 p.m. We can stay up till 10 p.m. and there's a whole new industry created from that. And then late 1900s, of course, we get our personal computers. We all remember those moments, and all of the organizations shifted their jobs, and the participants on this line know firsthand of how things have evolved in the workplace. So, what makes us think that AI and virtual reality is any different than the natural evolution of work? And so, what my company is trying to fix is the current problem of lack of talent, lack of trust, desperate new leadership capabilities to embrace what's happening with AI and the changing of the organizations, and building the communication skills required of the new generation of workforce, because they are on their phone so much that they don't know how to talk to people in organizations. But oh, the traditional early entry jobs that we used to hold, those don't exist. So it's hard for us to explain what the new entry level positions are, because we're creating them as these new employees are coming into the workforce. So thank you. Is it Annika or Annika? Thank you for joining. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hi, thanks for joining us. So the most depressing stat on this slide is about the trust. There's been a drop in trust in organizations with managers. And so I see a dire need for us to rebuild trust. And I'm reading a book right now, deep diving on trust, and how do you build that muscle and that skill. And there are ways to do that. So, what do we know about using virtual reality in learning? Because raise your hand if you've used VR before, virtual reality. Your real hand or your emoji hand. It's great. Thank you. Has anyone here used VR for learning? No. Of the 150 people that I have interviewed over the last year and gotten into the headset, only 25% of those people have experienced a learning opportunity in VR, whether that's a technical skill development, a soft skill development, whether it's a like museum visit and learning from within the museum or a geographic location, or even, oh, okay, yeah, they are a competitor of mine. But I'm better and I'm local and I have a strong large language model who does AI coaching in my courses. What's the whoops? No, that's what I need to hear. So, of some of the additional uh, statistics that we have found, is that Lufthansa has recorded a 70 to 80% cost savings in their training program by implementing VR. The confidence in skill acquisition is unbelievable that there's 300% more confidence that I can do a job after taking a VR course than a traditional learning method, e-learning. And then in soft skills particularly, 67% respond that they are higher engaged with the content than traditional learnings. Um, the trend is micro learning now, which means shorter bursts of educational content over multiple batches of that. We just don't have the attention span that we once did to get an 8 hour course complete in 8 hours. So we need to break up the content in a way that can repeat the main messages and provide better space and time at the convenience of the learner. And training industry has also found that the three main benefits are higher satisfaction with the training, higher self-efficacy, and higher engagement. So I have a short reel on my YouTube. I encourage you to watch. It's 60 seconds that shows all of the research that I conducted in 2025 and the top five trends. My YouTube is at Lead, Live, Learn, and that's across all of social. So, but what's the business case? What's the business case for using virtual reality and why should we care? Surprisingly, 91% of businesses have already adopted or are planning to adopt using VR and AR technology. It is being embedded. If you look at the chart in front of you, last year the market was 20 billion. By 2032, in 8 years, it will 5 times the market at 123 billion. This is exponential planned growth of the virtual reality market. And some of you may be thinking that, oh, well, did you hear about Meta and the layoffs of the 1,500 employees in the VR lab space? Meta being one of the biggest VR groups in the world. Well, what happened to the benefit of third-party software app developers, such as my company, is that the software developers in the Meta Labs space have been redirected from VR to the devices, the wearables, because they were focused on building apps within the headset, driving down any competition with any other software developers. They said, we want to focus on building the hardware and we want to let the providers create the content. So it's good news for smaller businesses in this arena. And they're sticking to what they're good at for this space, which is the hardware. So, real quick, with the growth anticipated, it's helpful to know that the United States is more than a third of the global market. So, we are buying, we are using, and we are deploying in the United States at large scales. On the right side, you'll see one of my onboarding for managers training, where we have the talking VR HR executive detailing the expectations of your role as a new hire. So, one of the examples that I love to give is Jaden Daniels, and people laugh, but some people don't know. Daniels is the quarterback for the NFL's team, the Washington Commanders. And he has announced, and it's widely known at this point, that virtual reality is his go-to form of training when he's off the field. So he spends every day after practice an hour and a half looking in the virtual reality headset at the competitor's field and plays being completed at 1.75 times the speed of a natural play. So, what does that do for him? It allows him, when he's actually physically on the field, to feel like everything's in slower motion. The results of Jaden Daniels' VR usage is a 15% faster decision making, a 12% increase in accuracy under pressure, and a decrease in late game performance. The success has been so noticeable that now all of the quarterbacks on the Washington Commanders are required to train in virtual reality. And there has been noted reports of widespread virtual reality training adoption with the Seahawks and the Cowboys. So VR is being used in leadership skills. VR is being used in the sports industry. And there are also several examples in the medical and health industry of physicians, nurses, and physicians' assistants using white glove experimentation and technical learning before they ever set their hands on a patient. As an executive with 20 years in the field, I've found that it's the fear that is the greatest barrier to people adopting emerging technology and, frankly, adopting change. And the number one accelerator is having confidence and experimenting with the new technology that will enhance your self-worth, because ultimately, emerging technology has taught me that it can evolve and has evolved, as we've noticed from this late 1700s to today. Uh, so why can't I evolve? I should be evolving with it. And an example I like to give in my talks is I started as an instructor-led trainer with a PowerPoint in the background and taking handwritten attendance for all of the people that came into the room. And then that evolved, and I was hired to a big management consulting firm to migrate thousands of DoD security cleared sensitive documents into what was the future of learning 10 years ago, online training. And it had choose your own adventure and branching. And to this day, the federal government uses the online training have created. But the first time I submitted my online course package, the software was Adobe Captivate 6. So you know how long ago this was, because now they have like a 2022 version. Is that I sent him the file, the package, and I eagerly waited his feedback. And when I got his feedback, he sent me an Excel document, which at the time I didn't even know how to use Excel. So I open up this file, and there's more than 50 lines of red edit suggestions. So many errors, it took me half a day to read how long my issues were with the course. And so I went home crying to my boyfriend at the time, now husband, and he's like, "Whoa, go chill, go to your room and go think about that." And I realized that like my boss didn't fire me. He didn't even write me up. He didn't reprimand me. He just gave me a file. And it was like the most normal feedback ever. It was like, oh, okay, fix these things and we'll be cool. So I overcame my fear of realizing, like, wow, I'm really not good at something. I can't blame anyone else. Like, this is my issue. And I learned how to become good at something that I wasn't. And so I sense we are all in a moment where we're all being forced to evolve as well. So, with that, I know we only have 10 minutes left, so I do want to get us into the headset as well. So, I'll go quickly, but I have a catalog of 6 soft skills training and onboarding courses that come out of the box, are available on the Meta Horizon store. Please, if you have a headset, go and download it today. But I love to work with companies and implementing them at the company level for their employees. And some of these features are incredible. I put a very big emphasis on ADA accessibility. I think training should be inclusive for all. And then some of my trainings have hand tracking, which means you don't need to use controllers because less accessories is better, in my opinion. You can teleport in certain trainings. You can do voice to text and get your results emailed to you after the end of the course. We use AI chatbots and large language models. We have quizzes and knowledge checks to reinforce learning. That's a big part. And we're working on getting CEU certified, meaning that you can use it for continued education credits moving forward. Our onboarding program has meet other colleagues in the metaverse, so you can actually have conversations with your colleagues and see each other's avatars. You're gonna laugh when you see mine because I have short black hair and wide leg pants, and I look nothing like my avatar, but I think it's fun. Some of my clients don't think it's fun, but I do. And so lots of good features that VR can provide that traditional forms of training can't. So before I get into the headset, are there any questions, comments?
Are the pieces on the top, the live intentionally, ignite action and passion, are those the names of the trainings?
Yes.
Okay. And then how many total do you have?
So live intentionally and ignite action and passion are 2 modules within the personal leadership training. Professional communication is a separate course. And then there are 3 more courses: onboarding for executives, onboarding for managers, and onboarding for employees. And the content in there changes based on the level, the strategic level of the organization. So there are 5 courses. One, two, 5. And my customer service one is projected to be published in the next 4 weeks.
How long does it take to create one of these, or do you have are these stock and trade that you've been using over and over, or what if somebody has a different approach? Do you do that custom, or how do you approach?
So it depends on the complexity of the knowledge acquisition. So how difficult the most difficult one to have developed on this list so far was professional communication. Um, from the scenarios to the responses to the testing, um, that one's different. So if it's an onboarding program, we go to companies' offices and actually record their space and then what's called light bake it. We recreate it in virtual reality and then it's more of a physical facility. So there's not a lot of content that I'm working with until you get to the conference rooms and you work with the IT help desk and the HR. So the timing depends on the complexity, but it can be 4 weeks, it can be 8 weeks. Good question.
Yeah, this will be very, very helpful. I'm so excited to hear you speak about this. My question is like, how does the courses evolve? Like, what's your strategy on evolving the courses?
Yes, thank you. So at the end of each of the trainings, you can provide your feedback on the course, and that's then reviewed in time.
Mm.
Also, the large language models, like pieces within the course, can be updated at any time and republished.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Thank you.
I have one more question. The
Please.
Jalen Daniels example, uh, did he create that himself, or how does that all work? How do these other applications come aboard like a video training for football, for instance?
It's a good question for the impetus, how he got started using it. I can follow up with you on that for sure.
Delina, great work. It's really interesting to learn so much. I'm sorry I was late and I missed like 10 minutes of the conversation, but the 10 minutes I've attended so far are really interesting for me because it's all new and I can just project myself already, into being not only a user, but, as a potential, as a business owner now, like I project myself giving coaching sessions or training sessions in VR, which is really exciting. And in that, scenario, let's say that I do want to deliver like my trainings or my coachings or my workshops in VR. Is it something that you would do for different, for a company like mine?
Sure, we can absolutely talk about that. Yes, I'll schedule some time for us.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Good seeing you again, Tim.
You too. Thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
All right. So I'm going to get my headset situated. You'll see on the screen that I also have my capabilities. So not all organizations are ready for or mature enough in their L&D practices or their IT integration practices to be able to handle widespread VR. So we do instructor led and we do computer-based facilitation. We do development of products, and we do executive services, all in the realm of uh, the employee life cycle. Katya, I understand you're on the very front end of the life cycle in the
Yeah.
recruiting space. And then there's the talent development one. Well, then there's the onboarding once people get in the space. Then there's the talent development, making sure they have the right skills to do the job. And then there's the talent flow, meaning where are the people leaving your company and going? And also, where are people leaving and coming? What's the talent flow? So, Lead, Live, Learn aims to connect the employee experience across generations by using emerging technology. All right. You see a casting screen on your on your computer? Okay.
Yes.
Let me cast. Let me know when you see what I see. Can you see?
I think we are.
Do you see
Yep, we're
three?
seeing three
Yeah.
screens, and you're kind of moving your head from left to right, and the mhm.
Can you see scrolling of apps?
You have to
Yes.
speak up.
Can you see scrolling of apps?
Yes, we
Oh
do.
yes. Hmm.
So this is your main library of apps. You can always go to the Horizon store and the bottom ribbon and search for something else. But in my case, you'll search for Lead, Live, Learn apps. To the right are trends, things that you need to know. Sometimes there are concerts of Taylor Swift or some of your faves. And then on the right, I like to use my WhatsApp in VR a lot. I keep connected to my friends this way. But let's go ahead in employee onboarding. So let me see if I can. Okay. Do you see buildings?
Yes.
Do you see uh, meet your colleagues in VR and onboarding training?
Yes.
Okay. So once you finish the training, the Meet Your Colleagues in VR will illuminate to allow you to bypass the training and meet the other people that are currently in the app. So with this, you'll see that there are closed caption. Do you see the closed caption in front of you?
Yes.
Okay. And you can adjust the volume on your headset to make it louder or quieter. Can you hear it, by the way?
So we can hear you.
Oh,
Oh
there is
no.
something in the background too. Yeah. But very, very low volume.
Did you say that it's pretty low?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's just introducing us to the training. And what he's going to do is tell us for this training, how do we move around? How do we press the trigger buttons to open doors or go up the stairs? If we don't really want the closed captioning, we can turn it off. But I always default with closed captioning on. Anytime you want to exit, you can use the right controller. To teleport, you use the joystick or manually glide. Any questions so far?
No?
Does manually glide mean that you actually use your like a mouse scroll or just how does that work?
Mm.
So manually glide means I use my left, I'm manually gliding right now, and I'm following the path that's laid out in front of me to each of the steps. If I want to teleport, it allows me to move faster. Here I go to the IT help desk. She's going to tell me where the printer's located. She's going to tell me where parking is if I have that question, how to connect to Wi-Fi. She's going to tell me how to reserve a conference space on the floor upstairs. This can all be configured to your particular organization's policies and procedures. It can also be made responsive based on the questions that the user has. So I'm turning. There is the front desk. Here are some of the company's suggested reading. And I'm going to teleport around. I can badge into a conference space now that I know how to do it because I talked to IT. And I can go to the all gender bathroom, which is family friendly for those of us who once had to do nursing in a closet.
Can't believe that was a day. Yeah.
Really was.
Uh,
And so I'm gonna not go upstairs at the moment. I just wanted to give you a flavor of how it works. Every time you hit the trigger button, which is the target to the blue on the floor, it continues the tour of the facility. We